I'm back. Well, hey, guess what we got today? We got this Fulltone WahFull. It's a funny word. I feel a bit full myself, but not quite that type of WahFull. Oh, that's a mouthful. Sorry. Yeah. Fulltone came along and made this because Robin Trower came along to him and said, hey, I need a pedal that can sort of give me that tone in between, you know, where you put your wah and leave it fixed. Yeah, I want one of them, you know. I've been watching that Michael Schenker guy and I want to be Michael Schenker, said Robin Trower. Well, maybe he didn't, but whether he did or he didn't doesn't matter, because Fulltone made this for Robin Trower and then didn't release it. Robin Trower's secret weapon, so to speak. Now, if anybody watches Robin Trower, he's sort of like an English Hendrix. Pretty awesome, really. And as he's got older and older, he's still just as awesome, so don't worry about that. But this is the pedal that Fulltone made, and a number of years later they released it. Now, this pedal isn't brand new as of today, don't think it is, but I don't know how many people have seen these things. I mean, they sort of come and go, these pedals, don't they? If you've ever noticed, they come, be famous for a week, and then fade out, a bit like you and me. But that's life, that's what happens. And pedals, I think, are no exception. There's the odd one, like the OCD, that stays around forever. But the majority of them come in and go out gracefully. Yeah. Now then, what's it got to offer? Well, in its own way, it's got quite a lot to offer, and it's made by a really good maker as well, Fulltone. Thing is, I want to know what you get in the box, and I've got the paperwork here. Well, you get a Fulltone sticker. Get over there. And you get, at least this one's printed, not like the clone. Stencil. Scribbled by hand. This one's, yeah, you get a picture, a description, and maybe how to use it a little bit. Well, that's all good. That's even better than the pedal I recently reviewed that had, like, yeah, this is a picture and get on with it. So what we're going to do is, as always, whip the lid off, have a quick look inside at the quality, because Fulltone quality should be there. But is it? Well, it's only one way to find out, right? And that's to get inside and take a look. So I'm going to do that now. Hold on, and then we can get down to the nitty-gritty a bit later. Well, here we are inside, and you know what? That's one of the great things about going and having a look in a lot of these pedals by these sort of less production, you know, than somebody like Harman. People like Fulltone, you can see this one here. It really is high quality analog type of circuitry. I don't think there's anything in there that's digital at all, in fact, looking at it. But I suspect, actually, because what it is, they call it a WahFull, it's a bit like a wah circuit. Okay, it's got a few enhancements for different tones and things like that. But overall, it's probably just a wah-wah circuit, just enhanced a little bit. Yeah, and what you get is the ability to put a battery on it. I like that too. Yeah, unlike some pedals where they just don't care, or don't think, or draws too much current, or I guess what, whatever. But yeah, all the regular sort of things are in here that you could expect to see in a wah pedal. And of course, being a wah, it's got an inductor. No, not a conductor, an inductor. An inductor's a bit like a sort of coil type of thing, and this one works at 500, that's probably micro henries, I suppose, or something like that, if you know Henry. Point is, it's in there, it's just very similar to every other wah pedal, except that this is a Fulltone one. I don't know whether that'll change things or not, I'm not too convinced, but everything else looks pretty much analog and pretty much like a wah pedal. So for what you're paying for this pedal, by the way, it's not particularly that cheap if it was just an equivalent to a single wah pedal, which it isn't, I guess. Another couple of little things I want to show you. There's nothing particularly to show at all, really, other than the quality. And you can see, if you look close up, You can see all the solder in the rest. Right, I couldn't say whether it's been done on a flow solder machine. Probably has. But who knows with this type of component. Interesting. And I did want to get a quick shot of this. I think this is their serial number along the inside. EO 72770, that's probably the date. And this is number 591. So they do actually, looks like, hand do these things. Nice, pretty nice. And they do also put the very same details actually on the PCB. So it's in some ways, I guess it's a bit like a car. You know, you've got a chassis number and a engine number that match. You've heard the phrase. Well, it's the same in this pedal. By the way, one of the things I didn't mention about this, it is a custom shop Fulltone pedal, so you're supposed to get a bit more quality, but most of the Fulltone stuff's pretty good anyway, so I'm not convinced whether that's worth having that on there for maybe extra money or not. I don't know. Now, looking at this pedal, we'll call it a WahFull, unfixed wah pedal, that's what it is, I guess, but looking at the Fulltone wah pedals, the settings here, to be honest, are near enough identical to some of the floor pedals, the wah pedals that I've got. We've got this whacked, jimmy and shaft modes, and what this does, it just sort of gives the thing three different flavours. You know what shaft was like, you know, that sort of thinnish tone that was stretched out for years and things. Everybody knows what jimmy sounds like, and whack is supposed to be a sort of example of a whacked out or, you know, mashed up old pedal that's been around a while type of thing. We've got a volume for the pedal, and we've got the actual position of the wah. That's what that's for. So if you imagine that on a shaft like this, I mean, it's pretty much a wah pedal, isn't it? The one thing you've got here that is a little bit different, that I haven't really seen before, is this pickup compensator. And I guess, you know, if you've got humbuckers or you've got single coils, that's going to look after the differences. One of the things about the switch, it's got an enhanced bypass, and there's no popping or clicking on this pedal, which is really a pretty useful thing. Often you get these pedals and you click them and it's bam, and you know, it's useless for recording. But this one seems to be solved in that area. On the input side, there's a JFET buffer on the input circuit, which gives you 2.2 megohm, which isolates this thing from, you know, previous earlier pedals in the chain that way, and I'll give you, you know, really flawless integration with any type of guitar pickup. That's a really good thing, a high impedance input, very useful. And the output's very similar. We'll come to inputs and outputs anyway to look at, but the output's very similar, and that's 10k ohms impedance for complete isolation from pedals following in the chain, and that should give you a perfect wah operation while playing with high gain amps, so you can still get that incredible wah sound even in high gain. You know, sometimes high gain will take away, shall we say, the trueness or completeness of the tone, really with distortion. It's taking away some of what's really there. With this pedal, you should actually be able to hear exactly what's coming on the output side and exactly what's coming on the input side, I guess. It's not just a parked wah effect, they say. It acts as an amp simulator, which allows you to drastically alter your sound for greater variety of tones and to cut through the mix during live and recorded sessions, it says. And I'm not surprised about that. In the way that it's been done, there's a lot of components in there if you actually go back and have another quick look. Far more than any regular sort of wah pedal. So you're getting something for your money. That's the important thing. By the way, this pedal, as well as being used with the likes of Robin Trower, this Joe Satriani's got one as well. and I doubt Michael Schenker or Jimmy Page, anybody like that, but maybe. I know they use the effect on a regular sort of wah, but yeah, one of the later guys, one of the newer guys, Joe Satriani, so if it's good enough for him, well, me and you, well, it's also got an on-off light, by the way, which I failed to talk about earlier, but don't worry about that. Now around the back here, we've actually got a socket for an external pedal, so you could actually use this pedal like a regular wah. Nice. Only problem is it costs you another X amount of pounds or dollars to go and turn it into a regular wah. So overall, this pedal starts getting a bit expensive. But it is one of their quote custom shop jobs for what that's worth. We've got an input and an output, and the proverbial mains, which remember it works off battery as well. But this one is negative inside and positive outside, pretty much like that last pedal I reviewed actually. So pretty much a standard round the back here. And underneath, got a lot of the usual stuff. Name, serial number, custom shop, Fulltone, Michael Fuller, Fulltone Musical Instruments, or product should I say, 1101A Washington Boulevard, Culver City, California, Fulltone.com, hand built in the USA. Very nice. There's only one problem, and that is there's no CE approvals on the unit, as there should be. Now I'll let him off with that because I did buy this one in the States. Let's hope the European ones, even if he sends it to Europe or the UK, does have the proper certification and the rest, because if it doesn't, it could be a bit of a problem. Not for me and you, the user, but for him getting them in the country, or the distributor having them stopped at customs and things like that. Just for the complete story, it does say Roche and CE compliant on the cardboard box of the custom shop WahFull, but of course that's in breach of European regulations. This has to be actually on the unit, and this is very much like what I saw in with the Axe FX all them years ago, where they put it on a box but they didn't bother putting it on the unit, yeah, which made it illegal. But apart from all that junk I've talked about, just what really matters is hand built in the USA, and going back and having another look, you should do, at what you saw inside really confirms that. So you are getting what he says. Awesome. I noticed that on that check behind me, it's £229 in every size. So that's the first thing. And in America, of course, it's probably going to be about $249, $250, something like that. So not a cheap pedal, but it is a custom shop, they say. And it probably is handmade, they say. It looks good. It's certainly built right. And I like these little things on the side as well. You can just screw them off and you're in the pedal. It's always a useful thing, especially when you're on a stage and the battery's gone belly up. I know you should check them, but you know how it is. Anyway, very nice finish and the rest of it, but is it worth £229? Well, I could buy actually a wah for that, or give or take, somewhere near that price. Yeah, I've got a couple of them out there, Fulltone pedals, very nice. But are a bit expensive. So have a good look around for a second-hand one. What else can I tell you about it? Well, nothing else except its rating, because I have been here before with this pedal. I've been out there and tried it, because I'm like that. I go and try everything out. Well, I should do. I have to buy them. So this one, well, it is a good pedal. I don't think it's worth the money. That's the thing. Because I can buy a wah pedal and just set it any old place. The Freak Out wasn't bad. The original, no, the Freak, I think it was called. Not the Freak Out, that's a different one. That pedal wasn't bad for giving you that sort of fixed sort of wah tone, but this one's better, but it's still not worth £229, or probably $249 or something else dollars, like I said. So it's going to get marked down a little bit because of that. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, which is a good pedal, but not worth the money. That's usually the scenario when you get a 7 out of 10. If you go below 7, in my ratings, not so good. About a 7 out of 10. So I would buy another, but not at that price. That's a good answer. And let's go and hear it outside. But before that, don't forget to go and have a look at www.TonyMckenzie.com. I'll be updating it by about Christmas or something. Nothing else to do at Christmas. And this one's coming up now, so you can hear it, which is always good. Yeah, that's what you're here for, isn't it? But it's always good to have a look inside these pedals. No matter what anybody might tell you, nobody else does it like I do. And I was the first, but remember that. So, yeah, we're going to go and listen now. Get out of here. Get out of here. See you next time, guys. Bye. Well, here we are with the Fulltone Custom Shop WahFull. WahFull sounds a bit like mouthful. I don't know, but it reminds me very much of the Fulltone Wah. I've got one kicking around here somewhere, but who knows where. There's a lot of stuff in here. But it has, you know, as I said in the earlier part of this video, that it's got the whack, the jimmy and the shaft. And it hasn't got that pickup compensator, I don't think, but it's definitely got the volume, and it's got the wah, of course, and an on and an off. But this one claims to have all these other buffers and sort of high Zs and all that sort of stuff in it, like I said. So, yeah, it should be interesting, really. I have tried it, and it does the best job out of any of the pedals that I've tried for a fixed wah. So, when Mr. Fulltone, or Fuller I think his name, yeah. Anyway, he got it right, and I'm going to plug in and do a bit of demoing of this. So here we go. Hold on. Now what I'm going to do is just hit a few strings and just turn this so you get an idea of some of the tones. Then we'll play something maybe. Yeah, it's just like a wah pedal. That's in the jimmy mode. But it's got more. It's got this gain as well. So let's just put the gain up. So you've got these other two modes as well, of course, the whacked out and the shaft mode. I'm on the jimmy mode at the moment. Don't sound nothing like Jimmy, do I? Well, neither will you, so don't buy one for that. Yeah, so let's move it to whacked and see what we get. It's almost like a regular pedal, but it does have that gain as well. Yeah, so let's go to the shaft mode. And cranked. Now, the thing about this pedal is that you can get at this knob and you can move it around with your toe, not with your foot, as you play. So if you really want to vary that fixed position, it's really cool for that. I'm not so sure about the jimmy, the whacked and the shaft moving that around with your feet, because that's a bit too hard, I think. But you might get away with moving the volume too. So interesting stuff when it's in a particular mode and you're playing against music. Here it is first with the thing turned off. I'll just play any old riff. And with it in, you can tell the difference, right? So let's move across to whacked, if I can. Yeah, I can, just. Now we've got the whacked mode. And out. In. So let's try the shaft mode. No, I'm going to have to go and do it. Okay, now the shaft mode. There it is. I can't play way this shaft's up, so don't wait for it. I don't think it's intended for that, actually. It's intended for the tones. You've got these 3 separate tones, which is good for me. But this shaft mode can make it very tinny. Let's whip back to the Jimmy mode. Here he is. Of course, if you get it cleaner on the amp, you get the tone without the drive. That's got drive, so we can sort of bring it up there. Let's fuck this off a bit. Okay, now I'm on the clean channel, and you hear the difference with it kicked in. Not bad. And remember, we can drive it with that pedal. Let's see if I can do that. Just push the pedal right round. Now I've got the drive set right round on this. Let's kick it in. We can hear it straight away. Let's get this back a bit. It's louder all round, so if you wanted to drive the front end of your amp a little bit more, this could be a good answer. Not bad. Well, there you go. Not a bad pedal, actually. The best of the genre that I think you'll find. I've got loads of other pedals, including wah-wahs, of course. And the thing about this one, you've got all that flexibility, plus the drive, plus the this, plus the that. And I know you've got those on some wah pedals. Check out my wah pedal review of not so long ago. Well, this thing does a really good job, and it'll handle the remember, the single coils or the humbucker like this one. Yeah. Till next time, hope you enjoyed the review. See you soon.
Thank you.